Everybody, the BVI pilots, glad to be here. We are finally here once again to do another sneak peek, and we also got some other TFM updates for people, just so that the news is out there and people know about it. Uh, Before we get started, I want to make sure that we can hear other people. So we got a few people in with us tonight. Andy, we've got Andy with us, of course, and
Yeah, hello.
we got Josh. Josh, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good.
And we got Tim over there in the corner. Tim,
Hey, how's everybody doing?
good to see you, my friend. And
See you too.
Brandon, we got Brandon with us tonight.
Hey, how's it going, folks?
And how about audio? How we doing with audio? Anybody know?
I'm working on that right now. I'll be able to tell you in just a second. Oh, yep.
It ain't like it don't sound double or nothing, right? Everything sounds good.
I'm working on that right now. It
Okay,
seems
perfect.
to.
Yep.
No, it sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, good deal.
Oh yeah, you sound good. Perfect.
All right, so to start with, before we get into the sneak peek stuff, let's get the news out of the way for those that are. Well, we're all. Don't let me say those, because we all like 2020. Nobody dislikes it. So let's talk 2020 first, Andy, with TFM. Where we at? What's the status? And what to expect?
Yeah, okay, so the big news is with the airport's database. Now, most people usually have had this experience where you start TFM after you get into your 37 or whatever you're going to fly. You start TFM and it loads the airport's database. You get the message that says loading airport's database loaded, and then you bring up the FMC to your 37 and all of a sudden you get audio buffering and video lurching and all that good kind of stuff.
How I know about that.
And it is a result of the airport's database for 2020 is so huge that no longer can TFM or FSUIPC handle it in one big chunk. So, the guy that wrote the airport's database features that we use, Paul Henty, we put a report out for him, quite extensive one at that, and he rebuilt the entire airport's database feature set that we use, which at this point has TFM's database features busted into a billion pieces that I have to pick up like a puzzle piece and put back together again. So luckily now that I am yeah, it was a migraine earlier, but with him helping me out in private with it a little bit here and there, I'm starting to get the hang of how it works.
Oh, the Paul guy's been helping you out privately?
Yeah, and so
that's cool. Yeah.
After we got the database to load, I was able to put back together the where am I on the ground feature. That's the right bracket shift C.
Right.
While you're on the ground, it'll tell you the gate runway or taxiway, and now because of the new feature set, it will tell you when you're in the airport's boundary lines. So for those people who may not have a runway in their scenery, and previously they would hit right bracket shift C. Detroit, New York, those are good ones for this example. Sometimes Denver might be a good one.
It would just say Detroit
where
or whatever, yeah.
TFM is missing, like the runway literally exists in the Eric cycle database, but the scenery is not got it. So you can land in that actual physical location, but it might say something like Wayne, Michigan.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, As a general point, how do you know you've actually landed where you're supposed to land? I mean, as far as you know, you could have just busted your 47 through someone's front yard and mowed their house down.
Yeah, because I remember
You don't
several
know.
times that I was flying and I would land and Brandon would be on with me or Josh would be on or even Tim, and I'd say, well, it's not showing me the runway. It just says, and you know, it's a good flight, but you're like, but am I at the right spot? Like, am I in the grass?
Yep.
Am I on the
Yep.
runway? Am I in the water?
Yep.
Who knows?
Well, at least now with this new database feature, if you land on a runway that doesn't exist in your scenery, let's say, or let's say you just overshoot the runway by 30 or 40 feet.
Yeah, like Detroit. Let's just say Detroit. 'Cause that's a good one to go
Yep.
by.
Yep. So let's say you land on a runway in Detroit and you overshoot the runway by 20 feet. So you do right bracket shift C, see if you landed on the right runway, and it says Wayne, Michigan. Well, now with these new database features, the way he has them broken down, we can actually tell you that you're at the airport. So instead of saying 21L at KDTW, it will just say at KDTW.
Now,
So
but
you'll
would
at
we
least
know-
know you've landed at the airport.
But would we know if we actually got on the
Yeah.
runway or not really? There's no way to identify that.
You won't be, no, you couldn't tell if you landed on the runway. Initially, you just would be able to tell that you're at least within the geo-fenced area of the airport.
Yeah, so I guess
That
if-
way you know
I
for
guess
sure
if
you're
you
not
land
like,
and you got a good landing and it still says, you know, KDTW, then at least you know you're there, you're within the range of it, that it would still be acceptable.
yeah,
I guess.
because most of these flight trackers, they don't bother to track whether you're on a taxiway or you're
Right,
at a
right.
particular gate or you're on a particular runway. They don't care. The only thing they care about is you landed somewhere within the vicinity of the airport.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all they try. That's all they track.
right.
So, for the sake of you land on a runway that really doesn't exist in your scenery, or you happen to overshoot the runway, or for whatever reason you missed the runway but somehow managed to land at the airport, then TFM will now be able to tell you that you're at KDTW, and you cannot worry and think you're going to submit something that might turn out wrong. You could just send it in and say, well, you know, you did the best you could do.
Yeah, because it still doesn't mean you didn't hit the runway. It means that that runway might not just be in your scenery. So, you know.
Yeah, so the runway probably isn't in your scenery or something like that. So that particular thing you won't have to worry about, so it'll just tell you you're at the airport.
Well, I guess, you know, you can look at it this way at least. It was kind of sucky that happened, but at the end it was a positive, really. Because now we got something that
Yeah.
come out good, you know?
Yep. And other things that that comes along with this is faster code. So, like for an example, the Where Am I that we were able to rebuild today, that runs an average request for right bracket shift C. If you just put yourself at a gate or on a runway, the average request before would take roughly 2.5 seconds. Now, you don't think that's very long in mentality terms. It's not very long time, because your brain could probably process that and not think about it. Now we have it down to like 45 milliseconds.
For which part now? I'm sorry? For which?
So the right bracket where the right bracket.
The Where Am
C,
I? Where
The right bracket.
the Where Am I feature.
The right bracket C, right?
Shift.
Or
Right bracket. No.
Shift C.
Shift C, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So while you're on the ground,
Wow. That's
we've reduced the load timer in the checkpoint to see where you're actually located from 2.5 seconds to 45
great.
milliseconds.
Well, I'll tell you what else I noticed. Now, this is going and talking about the 7.3 here for a minute. But when I used the latest preview build, I noticed when I went to the main panel, it's much faster. Is that known, or it seems much quicker arrowing through? Like, much quicker.
Yeah, they reduced the lag quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's expected. It might not be widely known at
you
this
noticed
point.
that, Josh?
I mean, it's
Did you notice that? I did. Anybody?
I did, yeah.
Anybody else? Tim? Oh, well, you're not doing PMDG, are you? I keep forgetting. Are you on PMDG
Not
yet,
right now,
Tim?
no.
Not yet. You have it. You got P3D, but you're just not on PMDG yet, right? That's where we're
Yeah.
at. Yeah. Okay. Okay. One thing out of all
but yeah,
things,
no, it's
guys,
widely known.
there's one thing, and maybe I'm probably not the only person here, but there's, out of all things with simming, the worst thing to have, in my book, maybe not yours, maybe not Josh's, maybe not Tim, in my book, the worst thing to me is lag. It's so aggravating.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
It's so aggravating. That's why we're doing these updates, people. Pay attention, because that's why we're doing this.
I definitely hate lag. Oh, jeez.
Especially like before, remember TFM would like constantly, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do it. But
Well,
you know,
now, so now, as an average, so loading database when TFM starts, all it is going to do is load a list of available airports. It doesn't load anything like taxiways or gates or runways or whatever. It just loads a list of possible airports that are out there in the world. So it takes TFM's footprint from, in terms of 2020, it takes its footprint from 3 gigs down to 100 megs.
yeah, because I remember it used to take sometimes a minute or longer for the airport database to fully.
And
be
well,
ready.
and I guess when you do right bracket control D, is that when it will load the runways of your specific airport? Like you want
That right bracket control D is busted right now. Because
Well,
that deals
I know,
with-
but I mean when it is going to be fixed, is it only going to just focus on
Yeah, it's only
as far
gonna
as
be-
footprint?
Yeah, as far as the database footprint, it's only going to load the airport that you had requested for that particular runway.
Cool.
So if you say, oh, okay, I want KJFK runway 31 left, the only thing it's going to care about is the runway 31 left. That's all it's going to load. It doesn't care about the airport. It doesn't care about the gates.
So
It doesn't care
it's
less
going to
about the
load
taxiways.
whatever runway is assigned to your flight plan.
Yeah, whatever you tell it in the destination runway box, whatever you tell it, it's not going to run anything except it'll only load that airport's runway.
So you put the airport code in, then it says loaded such and such. It's
Yep.
not going to load all the extra. Is that what you're saying?
No, it will not load the entire world. Because see, what happens is you go into the runway, or you go into the destination runway window, and you tell it KJFK you want 31 left. It says, alright, so it goes out there, loads the entire world, sets your position in the entire world, and then says, oh, okay, I want this little dinky 21 left runway at JFK. And it's like, okay, you loaded 3 gigs worth of world twice. Once to load it, once to set my point in
Yeah.
position in that particular world.
Well, let me ask you a good question.
Just to track a runway
yeah.
at an airport that Yeah.
Now here's a question
So,
I got, and I'm
it
sure
will take-
everybody will be asking this. What if you're on VATSIM and they give you a different runway than what's on your flight plan?
Then what it will do is when you put in a different runway, you put in a different airport, you put in a different runway, it will unload that particular runway you used to have, delete it from memory, and reload the new runway. So it's still a small
so when
footprint.
you're saying putting in a
Instead
different
of
runway, are
3.
you saying go to the CDU and you got to put in that specific runway now? Because isn't that something that we wasn't able to really do, was based on, or can we put that into the CDU so that it'll read what runway we
Well,
need?
no. So you could
You
put
can,
the,
you can put it in the CDU, and then you,
can
put it
put
into
the runway
do right
into the
back control D.
FMC. So when you do your flight plan in the FMC and you go to arrivals,
Yeah, I'm just saying though, once we put it in
Under-
there, that's what it's looking at.
once you put it in there, then you also still have to do right bracket control D
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
and do that.
And-
But
but it
once
goes
you
off of
say-
what you got loaded, basically. Whatever's in your CDU, that's what it looks at. When you do right bracket control D.
no,
No, that,
no.
you do right
No,
back
they're
control
not.
D. It looks at whatever you put in the edit box.
Yeah. So when you do right bracket control D,
Yeah, I know you put in the airport
and it's
code.
gonna, yeah,
And
you
you
put
hit
in the
enter.
airport code, and
Yeah.
it's gonna give you a list of possible runways.
Okay, I thought you meant
You
that
go
it's only going to
to-
give you one out of the list. Okay, I misunderstood.
No.
I thought you meant.
No.
Okay, okay.
No, it will load the list of
It
runways
loads
that are
all the
available
list.
to you.
Okay. I thought you meant it's only going to
It will load
the
all-
one runway that you've got in your flight plan. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. So it works the same as it does now.
Yeah.
Where you put in the airport code, hit enter, it says here's all the runways that are available for ILS. You choose one and hit OK, and instead of it having 3 gigs worth of footprint just for that one runway, it's only
got
going to
you.
have 10
Okay.
megs.
I thought you meant like it's only going to look at the runway you've got in your flight plan, and when you put in the airport code, it's going to put that one runway on the list. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, that
No.
would be bad for VATSIM if you need to change runways at an airport or something.
Well, yeah, but if you
Yeah.
listen to the way he described it, that's the way it sounded to me. So, anyways, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no. So it works the same way as it does now. The difference is the underlying source code doesn't require TFM to use 3 gigs of memory for one runway.
got you.
Instead, it's like
Okay.
10 megs of memory for one runway.
Yeah, it makes it
That's
much
the only
faster.
difference, really, and it will run a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The other difference is jump to gate and jump to runway does not use set reference location, basically meaning that right now in the current preview, if you do jump to gate or jump to runway, it will actually calculate your current position in the world and then give you your list of gates or runways. We are able to do away with that now and say, okay, well, here's your static list of runways that you can land at, or jump to, I should say, and here's the static list of gates that you can jump to. It doesn't make a difference where where you're located in
Right.
reference to them anymore.
Because that really didn't make sense to do it that way
And
anyways, did it? I mean, there wasn't no need for it, really.
No.
I mean, the
No.
only I could see if we had some kind of way to taxi, like either auto taxi or whatever, where the location would actually, would actually be relevant. But otherwise, no, it's not really.
Yeah,
I wonder
it's
it-
just
Not very
here's your
relevant.
That
static.
makes you wonder, like, this update, this wasn't just TFM, though, was it? This was 2020 altogether with airports, right? Like, he had to do this for 2020
Yeah, this
altogether.
wasn't.
So,
We had to do it for 2020, which also reflects back on P3D, FSX, and
but
all
it
of
makes
those.
you
So
wonder, I wonder how bad that's going to affect the auto taxi on 2020 right now. It had to.
It shouldn't affect auto taxi.
No?
Nah, it shouldn't affect AI.
No, because auto taxi doesn't use any TFM or airports database features.
Well, no, but I meant like the database thing. Was that just a TFM thing, or was it related to 2020 altogether? Like this
Well,
update
so
they did was on
the-
2020, but you got to redo stuff to make it go with that. So I didn't know if it affected other stuff for 2020 or not.
No, so this is a
Third-party
TFM.
programs use the database features.
Yeah, third-party apps
It's not just
use
TFM.
this.
Use it.
Yeah, it's third-party apps use this FSU
I
IPC
got you. Okay.
source code library, which has the airport's database defined inside of it.
Yeah.
And so TFM makes use of it. The FS 2020 does not
Gotcha.
make use of it. So this will all go back
FSFO
to...
makes use of it.
Yep. So this will all go back to P3D and FSX and all of those, which makes them a lot faster. I mean, even if you're gonna do the sneak peek and stuff like that, if you're at a runway or a gate and you do right bracket shift C, you should notice a speed difference.
You want to try it right now? I mean, I'm at a.
So, what you have to do, this is going to change from
Okay.
what you do now.
Okay.
So what you have to do, go to settings with right bracket control comma.
Oh. Just waiting for it. Okay, here we go. I'm on general.
All right. Now go to airports database.
Okay. Oh, I need to put in the P3D database, or direct path. Is that what you want me to do?
If you also look in there, there's one for 2020 now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you do not have to keep switching. You do not have to keep switching anymore.
Check that
You
out,
put
guys.
both
Tab
of them in
one,
there and just
P3D data. P3D.
Nice.
Tab again. There's a browse button. Tab again. MSF. And there's a browse. That's cool.
Yep.
And then what is this rebuild button for?
Yeah, that's a database that is a new database feature. So, what basically happens is instead of reading the CSV and XML and text files that Make Runways makes, because that's what the old way of doing the database used to be, is when you loaded the database, it would read in to your app all of those text files and all of those CSV and XML files, which is what caused it to have a lot of overhead. So now what they do is you have intermediary binary files that your app reads from, which makes things faster because it's easier to read from compiled binary files than it is to read from text files. And it also lets you say load an airport, set your reference point in the world to that particular airport, and that's all you care about.
Right.
So this rebuild database button will go and read the text files from Make Runways, build the binary files, store them on your hard drive somewhere, and then TFM can make use of them in a lot faster way. Now, here's good things about this. Let's say this is down the line. I am going to put this out as fast as I can once I get all the database features fixed, but we can pretty it up and feature it up, if you want to put it that way, as we go along with things. So you can check to see if the database is out of date. And so there will be indicators, let's say, in this airport's database settings window that surround the rebuild button, and it can have here's your make runways file path that's for the sim you've currently loaded. Here is your database files, your binary files path in case you have to go delete them for whatever reason and start over. There would be a thing there that says your database is out of date. You may want to consider rebuilding it to make use of the new runways and frequencies and whatever else comes with it. So there's a lot of things there. It'll actually tell you if you have the make runways output in the right location. It'll even tell you that. So if you're loaded in, let's say, P3D, and you come in here and it will say, I don't think so, because you don't have the make runways output in there. That will alert you that, uh-oh, maybe
So,
I need
like-
to go run it in there. And
So right now I've got the path set up for P3D. So if I hit that button,
so if you press that button,
rebuild.
it will pause for a split second. It'll pause for a split second, and then you'll have a message box that pops up. It'll say done loading from, and then give you the file path that it loaded from.
And can I do that now, or should I restart TFM before I do that, being I just set the path?
And do it now. You should be able to do it now.
This probably could also be an indicator, whether you have to, with a new ARAC update, who knows what actually changed. Maybe you might not have to
Okay,
run
it
make
says
runways.
Yeah, it says done.
You
but-
know.
So it
Yep.
took like 8 seconds, you
It
guys.
should.
No big deal.
Now the FS 2020 will take a lot longer. When I built it on mine, it took it roughly 15 seconds. So on slower,
Is there anything else you need me to
Setups,
do while
it
I'm
might-
in the settings, or can we close that? And
take a lot longer. And you can close the settings.
you say I don't need to restart?
Now, if you
TFM?
restart TFM because it has to load the
Oh,
database.
Okay, so right bracket, Control Shift X.
And now you'll see a thing that comes up that you're familiar with. They're loading database loaded.
Wow, that was fast. Loading.
But I'm guessing that should be
So-
faster too.
So it said loading
Yep.
database, and then it said, what plane I had, and then right after it said what plane I had, it said done loading. So big difference. And I can imagine, even though it's going to take longer on 2020, it's still going to be faster than what it was before.
Oh yeah. Now, do right bracket Shift C.
I got a Microsoft blah 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 framework.
What? You shouldn't
Oh,
have.
that's not good. Crash.
Let me hit quit or continue.
Hit continue. That's weird. Okay. Well, it's not perfect, but
Well, hold on a minute. I know why. Wait a minute. I need to put in my my key for the.
that possibly might be why.
Yeah, because it's not in there. So when it's trying to do it, it's going, hey, how do I get that? Being,
Here you
All
go.
right, so I'm going to go to settings real quick. That would not have happened if Josh would stop hacking into my computer. So he just did it again. Josh, stop. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding, guys.
Wow.
Okay, so let's try that again. So no, let me restart TFM. Okay. Load it again. Run administrator. Here we go. Loading TFM. Airports database is loaded. Well, right bracket C works, but when I do right bracket shift C, yeah, I'm doing right bracket shift C, but I'm not getting anything. Make sure the path's saved. I guess. Let's go see.
Folks, I gotta jump out of here and make a quick phone call, but I'm gonna tune
Okay,
into
let
the
me
stream.
see. Where exactly are you, anyways? Like.
Oh, it didn't save my Okay, it didn't save my path that I had set up for. Let me do it again.
Oh, that might be why.
Windows C. Okay, so now that I've got that in there, I'll hit OK and restart it.
Oh, I got it too for some reason. That's weird.
Did you? See it?
Yeah. I didn't get it earlier. I don't know why it's doing it now.
Why is it giving me? I put it in there.
Okay, hold on. I got
John,
the
I don't know
wrong
if you
number.
heard me or not, but I gotta make a quick phone call, but I'm tuned into my
Yeah, I
Google
got you,
Nest for
dude.
the stream.
All right, we'll talk to you.
Alright, we'll see you in a bit. Okay.
I'm gonna restart TFM now and see. It's got the airport database in there, so let's restart real quick.
Let
Okay,
me see.
I just want to make sure it saved it, so we'll go back to settings and make sure real quick. Okay, okay, so the path did save that time. Should I do the rebuild?
No, you shouldn't have. Yeah, go. Just to make sure.
So we're gonna rebuild. Downloading from, okay. Now let's try. I'm still getting this error.
Yeah. Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, that is weird. I don't know why.
I'm at
keep doing the
LAX
same
too, by
thing.
the way. You want to know where I was? I'm at LAX. Tim, did
Yeah,
you
that
have a
shouldn't
good,
really matter.
not heard from you for a while. Did you have a good Christmas and New Year?
Oh. Where'd he go?
He might have stepped away for a second. But yeah, my right bracket C works fine. But
Yeah, it's something with the database. Because I'm
Anyway,
getting
well-
it too.
well, he'll figure that out, guys. It's not a big deal. Once he gets that figured out, then we'll show you.
Oh, hey, can y'all hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. There you are.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Like my headset was muted.
Oh,
No, I was like gone for a week and a half. I was at my parents, and we went out to like my family out east and stuff. And we
nice.
spent
I
a while
figured
out
it was
there and came
something
back.
because
And
I'm
that
like,
was
I told Brandon, I
yeah.
said, man, I ain't
And then
heard
the
nothing.
last weekend I was out of town.
Yeah.
I went to see like Fallon and stuff last weekend.
I was like, man, I ain't seen Tim at all. I hope he's all right. But I figured you just busy, stuff going on. I start college again tomorrow. I got to deal with that same instructor I had last semester. Not looking forward to that. Because, now, I'm just going to say this while he's looking at that, guys. When it comes to accommodations, and those of you that's been to college, you know this. There should not be, at any time should we have to give this long explanation to an instructor on why we are receiving it. That conversation should not have to take place. Number one, they get a letter. Now, I don't know how it went for you guys before. It used to be you give them a letter, you hand them a letter. Then they updated it where they email them the letter. And in that letter, it says, such and such person is receiving special accommodations. Along with these special accommodations, they will be needing X, Y, Z, etc., etc. It tells them enough in that letter to where you shouldn't have to argue with your instructor to get your accommodations. Ever. Ever. Now, I don't know anybody else that's ever had trouble with accommodations with an instructor, but I have. This is the second time, second instructor, and it's annoying. But anyway. Did you ever have any of that when you was in college, Andy or Tim or Josh? Did you guys ever face any instructors that made it complicated / unnecessary?
Yeah,
Yes.
a couple. I mean, like,
Yeah.
but they were rare for me. I mean, a lot, but I mean, yeah, it did happen
And you know,
at times.
when I say explain, I also don't mean like I'm always up for talking about my accommodations. So like explaining to them, yeah, PDF is what works best for me because, stuff like that. I don't mind talking about it, but don't throw me to the corner because you feel like, I mean, literally, I had an instructor tell me that, well, that letter doesn't give me enough information. That letter's coming from the accessibility department, so they need to take it up with them, right? Like, what are we going to do about the letter if it ain't enough information? That's not our fault. But, anywho, I don't want to get too far off track here. All right, Andy, so
Yeah, I think I have a fix here for you, so hold on.
do you want me to unload TFM?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to shut down TFM.
I'm gonna give you a new.
Okay, I was getting ready to ask you that, so I can just go delete that folder. Okay. I did what Tim Tim gave me a good idea when I was helping him one time. I seen how he's got a folder on his desktop for simming. So now I do too. I got everything in that folder. Makes it much easier, don't it, Tim?
Yeah, I basically put everything in there, like pre-3D and TFM and all my
Okay,
airlines
it's on its way up.
and any other tools.
I wonder if there's a way I could put P3D in there, even though I've already got P3D installed and I got the icon on the desktop. Can you move
Just cut the icon out of the desktop. That's what I did. I just cut it and put it in the folder. That's all I did.
Oh, so just
Paste.
go highlight it and hit Control X.
Yeah, Control X and go into the folder, your flight folder, and hit Control V and move it. That's how I did all mine. I had like 40 icons on the desktop, and I cleaned it up one day and got it down to like 25.
Oh, I might not be able to do that yet because I forgot I got the sim running. That's probably why. Okay, let's see. I don't see. Is it still uploading, Andy?
It's still uploading.
Oh, okay. Let's do weather. We'll cut it. There we go. First officer. Makes it much easier to have everything organized.
It's getting close to being done.
What is this? Start. COUATL for GSX. Oh, I think that's that.
There it is.
Oh. All right, here we go. That's pretty cool. He can fix it that quick, you guys.
That's a nice thing about having a modular database like this is You can have a lot of moving database parts with a lot of database features. And if you work on one to fix, let's say you got like that where am I feature, and you go and change it around to fix it or make it different, it's not going to affect the rest of your database segments that you have floating around.
Um, well, I ran the executable and it just
Is it
says
still giving you problems?
TFM not responding. Or,
Oh geez. Did you shut the other one down?
yeah. We're just going to do the long way.
Weird.
Hold on, guys. Oh, it ain't going to let me kill it that way. Yeah, I had to close it all the way. Let me open my task manager, make sure TFM is completely closed here. Okay, I don't see it. You guys still there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So we're just going to reload P3D. And then, to be safe, we're going to delete. It won't even let me delete it. It says it's in use, but yet it's not even running. Like I don't even have P3.
That is weird.
Go back to task manager, but
Yeah, that's... Yeah, you should be able to shut it down.
let me look on the. Yeah, I don't even see it running anywhere. But it's it won't let me delete the I'm just trying to delete the one I unzipped, the folder I unzipped.
Yeah.
And it will not
Huh.
let me.
You might have to restart.
Well, let's do this then, because if I had to restart, we'd have to go live again. So, oh, hold on. Let's do this. I think I know why. Let's try now. No, you don't let me do it, is it? Alright, let's try something. Just send me moments, y'all. Bear with us. Just one of them things. That's just the way it works with beta. Sometimes there's little glitches. No big deal. I'm going to load P3D and see if it will... I don't even know. If that don't work, I'd have to restart, and I hate to restart and have to disconnect the live stream and reconnect. So if it comes down to that, we can always you can either go ahead, we can continue the stream and talk about what's new, or we can come back and do it again tomorrow after we get that little issue out of the way. Let's see what happens. Let me load the plane. Change vehicle. Alright, pmdg. Let's see what happens here.
As we get super huge later on into sneak peeks with the 47, it's going to be heavily critical that you have the 48.
I believe I have. Well, I've got the 48 is the it's not the main package, it's the one after that, right? Like when you
It's the extension of the 47, yeah.
I have that. I do have that. Alright, so let's load the
because
I've got
as we go,
I've got the 747-8. I've got the 747-8F.
yeah, you got it then. Because as we go along, like through the sneak peeks and stuff.
I got the 747-400. Then when I arrow down, it goes to this. It goes down to the 747-8. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. So as we go through the weeks on this, as we go through the sneak peek weeks and stuff, it'll be important to have that, because in order to show some differences between them with TFM support, we may have to switch from one plane to another.
We can do that. Okay. Hold on, guys. I'm just getting down to the. Okay, here we go. We'll just load that one. Change airport. Clutch. Gate 103 heavy. Alright, now we're loading the plane. Let's see if I can get TFM to work. Yeah, it just says not connected to simulator, but
Can you shut it down at least?
well, I don't see nowhere where I can shut it down because it's not showing under the system tray.
Oh, jeez. It's a ghost or something. Somehow, yeah.
Somehow it's hidden and I can't find it. I don't know how, but
Yeah, it ghosted itself or something.
I thought there was a command you could do in the DOS thing to kill. Well, no, because that would kill everything. Yeah, somehow it's.
Yeah, it like froze or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's just do this. Let's just. So we're not killing this whole stream for nothing. Let's talk about, because there's not much there at the moment, right? So we can talk about that probably.
Yeah, there is the MCP boxes, the heading, altitude, speed, vertical speed, flight controls.
So we have access
all of
to
those,
that now.
Yeah, all of those that are on the 37, those are on the 47. So they're fully functional. They're totally usable.
Nice.
A few notes of interest. First of all, the speed box has a fully functioning and working speed brake and auto brake, just like it does in the 37.
Okay.
The only difference between the 37 speed brake and the 47 speed brake is the 47 speed brake does not have a 50% detent like the 37 does.
Okay. Is there?
So you can press U for up, D for down, O for not O for off. That's in the 37. So you can press U for up, D for down, A for armed, and F for flight detent, which is the maximum you should let it go during flight. And then you can hit the plus and minus keys to slowly increase or decrease.
Okay. So that 50%,
then,
I guess the 7.4 doesn't have that in the real
Yeah.
world.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so the auto brake is the same thing as it is in the 37. It's got RTO off, disarm 1, 2, and 3, and you use it the same way in the 47 you do in the 37. Once you're on the auto brake box, you press R for RTO, O for off, D for disarm, 1, 2, or 3 for the different auto brake options itself.
Right.
With all of the MCP boxes, there are no indicator lights.
Okay.
Because there are no indicator lights on the 47 MCP, so there isn't any indicators in the MCP boxes.
Right.
The altitude box is identical except for the indicators as it is of the 37. The heading box is identical except for the lack of lights. The vertical speed box is the same as the 37 with the lack of a light to tell you when vertical speed mode is turned on. And the flight controls are different. It's the same physical layout, but it's different because the 47 does not have anywhere near as many controls in the flight controls box.
Oh, okay.
Because
Gotcha.
you basically have your flight directors, your bank angle selector, your autopilot left, center, and right, approach mode, localizer, hold mode, and that's it.
Okay. I mean that makes sense. It can't be the same as the 730. You know. I do like the fact that we can use that and we don't got to go to the main panel to make those adjustments. That'll make it easier to. It should make the flight easier, even with stuff not even being done all the way yet.
Yes, it does. It'll make it a lot easier. So, to give people a good equivalence perspective, flying the 47 at this point will be similar, if not almost identical, to flying the 77.
Oh.
In terms of ease of use. Yeah, it's not any different.
Right. So those of you that enjoy flying the 7.4 on P3D, have a blast. But on 2020, just wait. Don't attempt it right now.
Yep.
At least until he's got to get these things kind of put back in place here. And then, once you've got that done, then you should be fine. If you go back to,
Well, PMDG doesn't
matter.
even have the 70s.
There's not even a 7.4 on 2020 anyways, but I mean, in general on 2020 with TFM, I think it might be somewhat broken right now, correct? On 2020?
Say again?
On 2020, TFM is somewhat broken at the moment.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of groundwork to do with that before it's as stable as P3D. And even though the 37 has the identical support it does in P3D, it's still kind of busted into a billion pieces because we don't hook into all of the typical offsets that 2020 offers. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do in there once we get to that point, but
as of
it
right
may
now,
be a while.
Yeah, but so as of right now, isn't it even got the lag right now that it's dealing with TFM and
Right. So right now in the current in the current released preview, it still does have the lag.
So I guess you could fly it if you want to deal with that lag, but
yeah,
that'd be on you. Me, I can't do lag,
yeah,
man.
pretty much.
I can't do lag. If it's lagging, I think it's just better off to fly P3D until. If it was me, I would say, okay, I'll just go to P3D until it's fixed. No big deal. But
Yep.
that's my perspective on it. I mean, some people might be more like, no, I want to fly and I'm just going to fly. I don't know, but not me. I'll fly on P3D where I can fly the 7.4, the 7.3, or the 777, whatever I want. But good news on
Yep.
the 7.3, you can now put in your altitude, your speed, your headings, and all that without going to the main panel.
Yeah, the 747.
You shouldn't even need the main panel now. You can do everything.
Yeah, with the MCP, you shouldn't need the panel. You shouldn't need the left bracket control P
I was
panels
trying to think
for
of
that.
anything you would need it for in that flight, and I don't think there
But-
is. Well, yeah, there is. No, there's not, because we just have to activate
No.
approach, and it does all the autopilot stuff, left, center, and right.
Mhm.
With auto land, you just got to activate
Yep.
approach. So,
Yep. Now, for the sake of those people who like the cockpit panels window, everything, just like the 37 is, everything will be in there, even though there will be shortcuts for certain things like the MCP boxes and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is still going to be in the main cockpit panels window, so we're not leaving that out.
but they can,
It's just not in there right now.
right now they can just do the left bracket shift A, right, to get to it.
Yeah, you could do.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do all the left bracket stuff with it.
Very good.
And it is also not in the settings right now. So I have to go through and do that too.
Okay.
Because like you can turn the offsets on or off, so
Yeah, you
TFM
can.
won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it will or won't auto announce. You can't do that with the 47 right now, so I have to put those in.
Well, I think that was the same kind
So
of.
the MCP,
We went through that same phase with the 7.
it's just,
So.
yeah, it's the same type of. It's going to be the same type of setup. So the other thing that we should talk about is something that none of us have ever seen before. None of us have ever had access to before on the 47. And it's called the overhead maintenance panel.
Oh.
Overhead maintenance panel. Yeah. Interesting stuff coming up. So the overhead maintenance panel has two segments. It's got a section where you can perform maintenance on your hydraulic pumps and your APU, and it's got your EEC, electronic engine control, maintenance, and even on the 748 you can choose what APU startup source that you're going to use, and the 748 freighter has a maintenance panel called EMU. Whatever that is, I don't know. So
Wow.
Lots of new things coming up. Lots of interesting things coming up. So the other part of this overhead maintenance panel, which part of it includes the EEC and the electrical, and this would be called the breaker box, the circuit breaker box.
Yeah, there is actual.
I know some people's asked You know, some people's asked me if they at some point get to play with an airplane circuit breaker box at some point down the road. And the answer is very soon will you be able to play with the circuit breaker box.
Meaning you can turn off a breaker
Now,
and shut something down.
meaning meaning that if you go flipping switches in the circuit breaker box, lots of interesting, weird things can happen.
Oh, I guarantee it. No autopilot, no flaps,
Yep.
no oxygen. I mean, all kinds, anything that them breakers control. No.
Yep. And the first one is electrical, so the the electrical part this controls the actual electrical systems. This doesn't mean that it controls your electricity flow like, say, the electrical panel on the 37. There is one of those, which is a lot more complicated than the 37. It made my head spin, we'll put it that way. But
Wow.
this thing, the overhead maintenance panel, controls the features and functionality of the electrical system. So what you have on here, you have generator field reset switches. And there's 4 of them. So what happens here is, by default, they're all switched to off, which means that your reset switches are not active.
Right.
Meaning that all of your generators are working as expected. If a generator is not working as expected, then you go to this panel and look to see which one it is, and look to see if a breaker has been flipped to the on position. If it is, then you can try flipping it to the off position to see if it will reset itself. So that is what those are. There are 4 field There are 4 generator field reset indicators. And so what this does, let me bring it up here so I can make sure I got the grammar right, because this might get some people confused.
Yeah.
Let's see. Alright, let's see. Okay, electrical overhead maintenance. Yep. Alright, so let's go. Alright, so it says, for an example, generator number 1 field off, indicator off. So what this is if any of these generator field lights are turned on, it means that your generator field switches are off. It's kind of reversed, because you normally think, and this is why I say this is a really weird, complicated system of a turned on light tells you a light's turned off, tells you a generator's turned off, tells you an APU is turned on, tells you that your electrical system is botched somewhere.
Yeah.
Kind of idea.
Right.
You're basically following a rabbit hole down another rabbit hole. So it's kind of like a cautionary light or a warning light. So if your generator field reset lights are on. It means that your generator field's reset switches are tripped.
Oh.
And so they're in the off they're on the off position, which is confusing because then your generator field reset switch will say on. And see how you're tracing it down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like a light's on to tell you a light's off that says it's on the on position.
It's one of them
It's
things
like,
where
what the
you're
hell?
going to have to kind of study that whole area to really understand it.
Yep. So, so like right now, all 4 of my generator reset switches are set to the off position, which means that my field reset off switches or lights are turned off. So basically it means everything is running. In this particular panel, if you have no lights, then everything is running as expected. Except for, and this is what I saw on a YouTube channel, if all of the lights on this panel are turned off, say for the split system breaker, then everything is good to go. If you have something other than the split system breaker turned on, you have issues. Now, in this particular panel, you have 4 generator field reset switches. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4, one for each engine. So you can access those either by tabbing through the window or pressing Alt-G as in golf. And it will take you to the group of generator switches. The next thing is APU field reset switches. They're the same thing as the generator switches, but these are for the APU. And since the 47 has 2 of them, it's got 2 field reset switches. It also has 2 APU field reset indicators, which has the same grammar. APU number 1 field off indicator is off, which means your APU is successfully running and is online. If the lights turn on, they're broken. And you have to go down the rabbit hole and figure out what's going on and why.
Yeah, because
So
there's a lot
2
of
of these.
a lot of stuff you gotta.
Yep. So there's 2 of these. 2 switches, 2 lights for the APU reset switches. Now you have the split system breaker switch. It's when it's running in the normal setup, it is closed. Split system breaker is only open when one of these lights turn on and it trips a breaker somewhere. Or the other condition that I had seen was when you're in auto land, split system breaker will go to the open position and the isolation valves will then be set to on, because what will happen is generator 1, 2, and 3 And the auto land sequence will automatically start controlling the autopilots. Generator 1 will do autopilot left. Generator 2 will do autopilot center. Generator 3 will do auto right. And generator 4 will power the remainder of the airplane. If you're not in auto land sequence or you have already landed, then system split breaker is closed. Isolation valve is either closed or set to auto. And generator 1, 2, 3, and 4 control the power for their particular side of the airplane. 1 and 2 for the left side, 3 and 4 for the right side. And you can access split system breaker with Alt S's and Sierra. It also has a light associated with it, which you can access with Alt 3. And by the way, generator lights in this panel are Alt 1, APU lights are Alt 2, split system breaker is Alt 3. The next thing in this window is ground power tests. You press the button and the airplane will go through a ground power system test. That has no lights indicated with it. It's just a button you press. And you can access it with Alt N as in November. Now, that is for the 47-400. That's all that's on that panel. For the 47-800, you have one more button that's called towing power. And because the 800 is so huge and so heavy, you can't expect a little dinky tug to pull that thing by itself. So if you turn on towing power, then the airplane can help it along by giving some extra push to itself.
Basically, it will move
And that's
the
only
wheel.
on
It
the
helps to move the wheels.
Yeah, it turns the wheels.
Yeah.
And
that is cool.
and so that's only on the 800, so if you're on the 400, you'll not see that button. If you're on the 800, you will see that button. And that's what we have so far.
Well, the 777 is bigger than the Queen of the Sky, right?
In terms of physical size, weight, and volume, it would depend. I think the LR might be a little bit larger in terms of how much weight it can carry, but I think the 47, as far as like physical dimensions, I think is bigger and
The Queen
heavier.
of the Sky is still bigger and heavier, yeah.
Yeah, and the 800's even bigger and heavier yet. So, I mean, it is by far the largest airplane, aside from the A380.
Right. So what we'll do, guys, is we'll the next sneak peek, we'll have this little TFM glitch fixed, and yeah, somehow TFM ghosted itself.
And the next...
I don't know how, but it did.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And the next one should have... Let me see. Okay, so the next one should have overhead maintenance fuel. the EEC. Flight controls hydraulics. And possibly overhead maintenance air conditioners.
Nice.
Oh, APU startup source. EMU maintenance. These are all like really small panels. I mean, they got like maybe 2 or 3 controls on them.
Oh, okay.
Squib tests. Miscellaneous. Yeah, so by the time we get done with the next one, the overhead maintenance panel should be finished. 'Cause there's really not a whole lot on these panels. Like squib test, there's like 2 switches. APU source, there's like 1 switch.
Yeah.
EEC, there's like 4 or 5. EMU, there's 1. So, and then we'll start the actual electrical overhead.
Yeah, and that's
So
when
by the time
you'll start seeing more.
Yeah, that's when you're gonna start like dying and wanting to know why did you decide to do this.
Right. Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot to this thing.
Yep. Matter of fact, when I was watching YouTube videos about it, they actually have, I forgot what they call it, but it's an actual display that comes up on the forward panels. And instead of, let's say, the 37 where it gives you digital readouts of your amps and volts, and it gives you your AC and DC selection choices, and that's what you got. In the 47, there's actually a display you can flip to on one of the panels. It will literally give you a system map of your current electrical flow.
Wow.
I mean, it's a system map. It's a system map of all the electrical wiring, and it shows you where electricity is coming from and where it's going to.
Wow.
Obviously, we won't be able to use it, but it's there. I mean, if you're not sure about something, then what a lot of like first officers or engineers do is they'll just flip to that, take a look at it. Okay, everything's looking good.
Because they can figure out exactly if
So
if there's like an electrical flow that's not getting to where it should, they can go to that and see it.
Yep. Yep, and they can possibly see where it's being
That's how they can
held
figure
up
out
and
like
what might be the
if a
problem.
wire's been broken or anything.
Yep. Yep.
That's amazing, man.
And that's always available to them, except, now this is funny because I was watching a real pilot who flies these things in real life, and he says the only condition where you're not allowed to see the electrical system flow map is on Autoland. And then he says if you see Autoland 3 on your combiner, then you're not allowed to see the electrical system map because it is so different than what you would normally expect to see that apparently feedback back to Boeing had told them that people get really confused when they go look at the Autoland 3 power configuration sequence. It looks so different that pilots would actually think something is wrong and they would try to quote fix quote Autoland and put it back in its original setup that they're used to seeing like at cruise or whatever. So
Wow.
Boeing just said because Autoland 3 is so different of a power setup than normal,
Leave it alone.
we're not even going to let you see this.
Right.
Yep,
Just
we're
leave
not
it
even going
alone.
to let you look at it. Yep.
Wow. That's amazing.
And so what they said is like on the switch or on the power, the switch that will flip to that display, it will actually flip the selector switch to inhibit, so you're not allowed to see it.
So if you try to see it, it won't pop up.
Yeah, it just won't go there.
Wow. I guess the only one that can see that is maintenance when it's on the ground. I guess they can, ones that know how it works, electrical engineers. But
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. And that's what he said. He said once you get it on the ground and stuff, then the inhibit switch will turn itself off, or if it doesn't, then maintenance has a way of getting in to see it.
Right. Yeah. That's amazing.
And I was thinking he was explaining how he actually traced a power source from generator 1 all the way up through the wing, through the hydraulic pumps, through the EEC, through the forward dash, through the combiner, up to the overhead, maintenance overhead. And he said, here's our little generator reset switch. And then he traced generator 2. He went from the reset switch. He said, here's our little reset switch. So it goes down here, goes under the cockpit, goes back up behind the cockpit, goes through the entertainment system, goes through the power seating system, goes under the cabin, all the way to the tail. And there's one of our horizontal stabilizers. And he says, obviously, you can see all of the branches that generator 2 has on it. There's a lot more than just the stabilizer, but he said, I just wanted to give you a good idea what happens with one of these branches. Now he said, let's flip this to off. So he switched the generator reset switch. He tripped the circuit breaker for it. And he said, see, and it's in real live time, because once I flip this, he says, you can see the electrical, the red arrow is tracing its way through the system right now, shutting down everything. And he says, here you can see when it shuts down, what does it do? It shuts down the electrical system, the power seating system, it shuts down the overhead lights on the left side. Why? Because those are not mandatory things for it to fly. So if it needs to reserve enough power, once you trip the breaker, it will do it for essential things like flaps and stabilizers and brakes and rudders and yokes and things like that. All the overhead lighting and entertainment system, the power seating, those are not necessary.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's like, it's really complicated.
So guys, this is what we got so far. I'm guessing maybe another week or so we will. Here's the other thing, guys. The Twitter account, if you follow that, I'm going to start posting tweet messages or announcements through the Twitter, and I'll let you know ahead of time that, hey, we are going to be doing sneak peek on, and then I'll, give the date. Because sometimes me and Andy get together and we're like, you know what, we can go ahead and do one. Now I'm just going off how it was in the past. It was never always on a Thursday. Sometimes we did it on a Tuesday. I think, Andy, you'd probably agree if I said that it really depends on where Andy's at with what he's programming, because some stuff has got a whole lot. For example, just what he was talking about, there was several little panels, but they only had like one switch, two switch. So he might say, hey man, I can have this knocked out by Wednesday. Or, we can do this on Tuesday. So where I'm getting at this is follow us on Twitter as well at BVI Pilots. And I'll do announcements there as well. Because I know this is a big deal. A lot of people like flying this one. I love flying the Queen of the Sky. I love this jet. My other computer, for some reason, has got my Queen of the Sky doing all kind of bonky stuff. But whatever it is, I'm not going to worry about it because I got P3D5 on this computer and it's running fine. So, I mean, why worry if I still got a good copy of working? So, anyway, we'll keep you updated on that stuff. And if there's something, someone had emailed and said, do we wait until we do a live stream to announce anything that needs to be announced right away? No. If there's something really important, you're going to know about it. You'll know about it through TFM's channel. You'll know about it through this channel. You'll probably even know about it through Declan's channel. I think his channel was Blind Flight Simmers. I might be wrong.
Yeah, Blind Flight Simmer.
Blind Flight Simmer.
Yeah, there's no S on the end.
Okay, so just Blind Flight Simmer.
Yeah.
So all these channels, you guys, if there's something that important, trust me, you're going to know about it. Because Andy's not going to want to wait until a week to say, oh, by the way, guys, this is why you had trouble all week. He's going to let you know right away. As quick as what he can learn about it.
As soon as I know, if it's important enough for a breaking change like the database thing, you'll know about it as soon as I know about it.
Yeah, and let me pull that up real quick.
And keep up to, and
You're good,
keep up to on whatever channel, the BVI Pilots YouTube here or the Twitter and things like that, because 37 is exciting to have almost full access to and all that kind of stuff. But to have something like this, we said that the 37 is a breakthrough, which it is.
It really is.
Don't get me wrong, but this is going to be another level
of breakthrough. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be, like the 37 is breakthrough level 1. This is breakthrough level 2.
Yeah. So Alice said, I just wanted to know if you guys do announcements only when you're doing your sneak peeks, or will you make announcements if it's important? Will announcements come out sooner? She also said, I was also wondering about submitting errors or bugs within TFM. Is there a limit on how many we can send you? Obviously, I'm not going to spam you with every little thing, but just wanted to make sure so I know where to prioritize sometimes when I see things that are acting silly or might not work to TFM's expectations. There's no limit, but he don't want 20 messages a day.
There's not a
Okay.
Well, there's not a limit to there's not a limit to the number of bug reports that you can put in. We don't do that. So if you're a TFM user,
put more than one bug in one report, and I don't know how you would do that.
That one, no, you can't. No, don't put more than one bug report in a.
Yeah, one bug, one report.
Yeah, so if you're a TFM user, then what you do is you can either press right bracket, then Control-Shift-I as in India, and it will take you to our issues queue, and you can look through there to see what's open and put comments on them or open a new bug report. If you need to, you can also right click or bring up the applications menu for the system tray icon and go down to report an issue and click that. Or you can go to github.com/talkingflightmonitor/talkingflightmonitor. That's
GitHub.
all one word, Talking
.com
Flight
slash
Monitor.
Talking Flight Monitor
Yeah.
slash Talking Flight Monitor.
Yeah, Talking Flight Monitor is one word, no capitalizations.
Slash Talking Flight Monitor.
Yep.
How the hell did you
No
pull that one off?
capitalizations, all jammed together.
What the hell?
So basically what we did is we created a GitHub organization called Talking Flight Monitor. That's the first one.
Oh.
And then you have Talking Flight Monitor repository, which is the second one. So for those people who now,
great.
this is huge for those people who like the A-to-A airplanes that the current version of TFM doesn't have support for. It's going to be easy to figure this out, and remember, go to github.com/talkingflightmonitor/legacy. And there will be the old ancient Python version that had A-to-A support in it. So that would be github.com/talkingflightmonitor/legacy.
Legacy. I'm going to write that down.
Yep.
I'll put it in chat for you guys. I'll put it in the window. So Talking Flight Monitor. Well, let me do it from the beginning. HTTP.
No, it's github.com.
// github.com/ HTTP going like that. Talking Flight Monitor / legacy
G-A-C-Y. ACY.
Okay, so I'm gonna open the chat real quick and put it in the window so you guys got it.
Well, for
All right,
people
there
that
it is.
already have links to the current version of TFM's repository, the old links, that was like github.com/j-talking-flight-monitor-net,
Oh yeah.
or whatever it used to be. Long convoluted nonsense. For those people who still have those links, they still will work. Just when you got time, update your links to the new one so it'll
To
be
the
easier
GitHub.
to remember.
Yeah, github.com/talkingflightmonitor/legacy. Much easier. And
Or
then,
Talking Flight Monitor/Talking Flight Monitor for the new one.
yeah, I'll put that one in there too. HTTP www.github.com/flight monitor slash monitor. There's both of them in the chat. So wait, now if they go to Legacy, so they can download that old one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still there. For those people who like the A to A stuff that we can't put in right now. Yeah, it's still there. You could still download it and use it.
I'm trying to remember. I think it supported the Bonanza. Now it's the payware though. You got to get the pay. You got to get the right planes for it. I believe you got to get like the actual payware Bonanza. The payware.
I think it's the. Yeah, it's the Piper Cub, the Bonanza, and I think the Skylane.
Which I love flying those. I've thought about. You know, I used to have the Bonanza, and I don't know what happened to it. I hate to have to buy it again, but I had it before. But we'll see. That's cool. So let me ask you this, because now I'm sure people are going to say, does that mean that he's still offering support for Legacy? Or
We do not support Legacy. It is, no, there are no bug reports, no new feature requests. That whole project is shut down. We're just keeping it there for people who might need it for the A to A stuff on occasion.
do you ever plan
if they wanna
on
use it.
bringing A to A stuff to TFM? Now I know
We
we're
can't
talking.
give a date or a time, but yes.
Right. I know we're talking a while to go. A while to go. Not this year. Not
Yep.
next year.
Right,
But maybe once,
right.
like the 7.3's done, the 7.4 done, 777's done. I don't know if maybe then, or maybe by then you might be jumping into the Airbus. I mean, who knows? I think the Airbus would be more,
Yeah, we don't know.
you know.
Yeah, we'd have to go with what most people vote on and want to have
I'd say
done.
Airbus all the way,
And
dude. I mean, we got people already.
Overall, most people are.
They're wanting Airbus.
Yeah, overall,
badly.
most. It's,
Yeah.
overall, most people are saying do the pmdg stuff and the Aerosoft Airbus stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We get a handful now and again that say where'd the A to A stuff go.
Here's something you guys can look
So-
at it this way. Can you fly the A to A stuff right now on TFM? No, it's not supported. But where is it? Now here's the pop quiz question. Should make it a giveaway. Pop quiz question is, where can you go right now and fly an A to A? Right now, where can you go and fly one of them planes? Because I know where you can go. Go to 2020. Go to 2020 and fly it.
I'll say the giveaway. Anyone who can answer the question in the next 2 minutes gets a free copy of TFM.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll give you a free copy of TFM.
That's it.
Oh man, I
Just kidding. It's a trick. TFM is always free.
yeah, exactly. I'll remind you guys. Somebody sent an email. I usually bring it up on my streams at the end of it, beginning of it, talking about the cash card giveaway. I'm still kind of going through on the best way that I'm going to be able to tally this up. But really, let's say that Andy gets 20 people to subscribe. And then, let's say Josh got, now I'm just making these names up. Josh got 15. And then Brandon got 10. So, hopefully I can have it to where I'm going to, when someone subscribes, obviously the person that says, hey, go subscribe to BVI, let them know that I sent you. That way when you go into the, you go on, into the video, wherever, whatever the latest video is, whatever, the latest live stream, and they say, hey, Andy sent me. I'm going to try to tally it up that way, hopefully. But I can look at subscribers and see who subscribed and when they subscribed. And then, so Andy did 20 subscribes, so he'd win $100. Josh did 15, he'd get 50. Brandon did 10, he'd get 25. But if Andy's the only one that got 20 subscribers on March 1st, well, he just made up for first, second, and third. So that means he won all 3 cash cards. I mean, fair is fair. If no one else did it, who else would I give it to? Right? I mean, wouldn't you think? You think that would be the fair way to do it, Andy? I mean, that's the way I was thinking I was going to do it, is if only one person does it, then they get all 3 spots and can win up to a total of 175 with, cash card giveaway. I mean, it's nothing extreme. It's not a lot. I mean, that's not a lot of money. Well, today it is. But it's a way for me to say, hey, thanks for doing that. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for subscribing. Because obviously, let's face it, without the viewers, even TFM alone, without people knowing that it exists, I mean, you guys are what makes it happen. You guys are the ones that new people find out, another blind person finds out. It's all about the views. It really is. So, just our way to show appreciation. That's it. Anyway, guys, until next time, me and Andy is going to say goodbye to you. Remember that you can go to talkingflightmonitor.com. You can download the preview build. You can download the latest build. You can contact Andy. You can email him. All the options that you might need are right there on that page. Also remember there's the BVIpilots.net.
The blog's there.
Oh yeah, and the blog, talkingflightmonitor.com/blog. Remember, everything that he does goes through that blog. So
yeah, and just a warning for people who read it, this week's blog post is going to be somewhat large.
Oh, I bet. Have you done a blog on what we're talking about now, or is that coming out?
No, that's Sunday.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, but yeah. So always check out the blog page, because listen, if you go to the blog page and you can't be caught up with what's going on, something's wrong, because he puts everything through that page. But honestly, there's no way you could be out of the loop, because TFM posts it, BVI Pilots post it, Blind Flight Simmer posts it, we do the podcast, loads and loads of...
There's WhatsApp, there's email.
Yeah.
There's the BVI Pilots email, there's the Blind Simmers community groups on WhatsApp, there's our YouTube channel, there's this one, there's the website, the blog, the GitHub repositories, so
everywhere.
Podcast, of course.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's anywhere and everywhere. I mean, just do a Google search on it and you'll find it still.
My gosh, yeah. The last thing that I seen in the email, Allison, you was asking about, let me go down here and see what it said. Oh, do you know what the next expected date is for another podcast? We never do. It could be 3 months. It could be 5 months. We put out a new podcast when there's something new to talk about in simming. and something that we have 100% factual information. So that way, when someone listens to our podcast, we know that if they say, "Well, I heard it from the podcast," and we know that they didn't get it from just, anywhere. We know that they got facts and not opinion, or, we stay away from opinion on the podcast. So the answer, no, I can't tell you a date, but I can tell you that to just follow it. And we will also make an announcement if there's one coming up. So, all right, guys, take care. We appreciate all of you. We hope that all of you guys enjoyed this stream, and we'll see you back here real soon. So be sure to tell your friends about us, and until next time, y'all take care, and we'll talk to you soon.